Hello and welcome to Henry Recommends, the show where I, Disregarding Henry, recommend to you movies that I like, and that you might like too. In this episode, I'd like to recommend the directorial debut of the Wachowski sisters, way back when they were still identifying as the Wachowski brothers, the stylish neo-noir Bound. Gina Gershon stars as Corky, a former thief fresh out of prison who starts a new job as a handyman in an apartment building. Almost immediately upon her arrival, she catches the eye of the beautiful Violet, played by Jennifer Tilly, and soon finds herself being seduced. Violet is the girlfriend of Caesar, played by Joe Pantoliano, a money launderer for the mob, and she is looking for a way out of the mafia lifestyle. When she learns Caesar is about to come into possession of $2 million, she spots her chance. But she needs an accomplice. Corky decides to help Violet steal the money and escape the mob, even as the both of them start to wonder if they can really trust one another. But when their plan doesn't go off as smoothly as they'd hoped, trust turns out to be their only chance of coming out alive. Proving that the Wachowskis were experts at blending and subverting genres even before The Matrix, Bound takes a lot of familiar elements and turns them on their head in interesting ways. You get noir staples like the sexy femme fatale and the strong masculine lead, but here that strong masculine lead just happens to be a woman, and she and the femme fatale just happen to be gay. The choice provocatively heightens the film's themes of trust and intimacy and gives it a surprisingly contemporary feel, especially since the Wachowskis are now both openly transgender. I don't doubt they were very consciously attempting to portray gender and sexuality in a way that had rarely been seen prior to this, a way that meant a great deal to them. This runs contrary to the legend that has developed in the years following The Matrix. It's been said that the Wachowskis, who both started as writers for comic books before breaking into Hollywood by penning the screenplay for the Sylvester Stallone vehicle Assassins in 1995, which they eventually tried to remove their names from, only made Bound to prove that they could direct a film, so that Warner Brothers would be convinced to finance their passion project, The Matrix. While it does appear to be true that they wrote The Matrix before Bound, they have since denied that Bound was merely an audition piece. It was indeed a story they wanted to tell, and that they fought hard to tell. Endless numbers of studios, producers, and actresses allegedly refused to be involved with this film because of its lesbian content, which in 1996 was considered shocking, to the point that even when it was finished, the MPAA required cuts to its explicit sex scene before they would grant an R rating. The Wachowskis would of course go on to change Hollywood filmmaking with their second film, The Matrix, maybe you've heard of it, and since then have certainly suffered their share of criticism, for whatever reason. Think what you will of their work, I personally find them to be intelligent, original, daring, and extraordinarily gifted storytellers. Bound is suspense filmmaking at its finest. The first half masterfully sets up all of the complex plot mechanics, and the second half pays it off with a brilliant, non-stop series of twists and set pieces, allowing for the kind of visual showmanship the Wachowskis excel at. Their clever screenplay runs this premise as far as it can go, making the most of its limited budget and locations, and keeping its fierce tension escalating until the very end. Best of all, you can sense its creators having fun the whole way through, in the extreme camera angles and moody comic book style visuals, in the playful and carefully choreographed seduction scenes, in the creative use of sound, which is constantly bleeding through the thin walls of the apartments, and in the way they unexpectedly punctuate hard-hitting violence with notes of pitch-black humor. Bound is available on Blu-ray courtesy of Olive Films in both its R-rated and original unrated cut, though unfortunately without the audio commentary that accompanied the first DVD release from Republic Pictures in 2001. I don't own either of these releases, but luckily it's also available to stream on Hulu, as far as I was able to tell, in its complete unrated version. However you decide to watch it, Bound is a gripping story of sex, crime, money, deception, and violence that's told with unparalleled skill. It's beautiful, stylish, and outstandingly cinematic. That's why Henry recommends Bound. Sayonara.